right here. Tell us what you think. Jerron Ennis and his team ducked the smoke with Virgil Ortiz at 154 pounds. After mentioning they couldn't make the weight anymore, maybe it was the weight giving them trouble. I want to fight anybody. 154, Crawford, Virgil, and now, oh, I didn't know it was gonna. I didn't know it was at 147. I didn't know. I didn't. Oh, is that? I didn't get the text and I didn't read it. Come on, man. And we like Ennis. Ennis is a tough fighter, great talent. We thought he wanted all the smoke, but this move does not suggest that. What's
Yeah,
your thoughts on
so
that, man? And tell us what you
I
think.
mean, no, I definitely think it was a duck. You know, he comes out in an interview with YSM Sports, and he was like that. He didn't know what was going on, and he wasn't part of those negotiations. So if it's not coming from him directly, don't take it as something that's gonna happen. So bottom line is this, man. You come out, you say, listen, I wasn't part of it, but yeah, we that's what we want. So we're gonna start negotiating. But obviously that wasn't the case. Now the rumor is, and it seems like, again, we'll have to wait to hear it from Boots' mouth, right? Because he said if it doesn't come from him, don't believe it. Teofimo Lopez and Boots, right? But what's funny about this one, I could see him entertaining it. You know why? Because that's a 140-pounder moving up to 147. So he's like, yo, listen, you know what? I know I'm having trouble making 147, but this is a dude that's never fought up here. So you know what? If he's willing to come up here, then so be it. Plus, this is a fight that, without a doubt, could push Boots to the forefront of boxing and make him an even bigger household name, because we know Tio is a household name. So beating the likes of Teofimo Lopez is definitely gonna help Boots stock if he was to win that fight. And that's of course if that fight does come to fruition, right? But regardless of the fact, Boots ducked that smoke with Ortiz. I don't care what anybody say. Truth is true. All Philly fighters, we don't duck smoke. Stop it. Everybody ducks smoke. And like you said, we like Boots here. He is one of my favorite fighters. I've been to Philly to watch him fight. So I've supported him. But truth is truth, man. Just come out and say, listen, you know what? We're gonna go to 54, but right now we don't feel comfortable fighting someone like Ortiz right now. We want to touch up. And whether the fans cry about it, because fans are gonna cry about it. Oh, why he just don't fight? Listen, I will respect that more, because he's saying, yo, look, I'm not saying I don't want to fight you. I'm just telling you I want to fight someone here first. Let me get accustomed to this weight. Let me see how it is. And then we get right to the Ortiz fight. But to come out and just be like, oh no, not 147, when you said that's a weight class that you guys are gonna leave behind, not only you but your promoter as well. So you can't fool everybody, man. You understand? But we know how the sport is. Um, a lot of these fans are very biased. Either they from the city of that fighter or the same ethnicity, so they're gonna use every excuse in the book for him. But if that was Tio, if you switched it, that was Tio who was Boots. He a duck, you see, all he do is just talk ish on the internet. He really don't want to fight. He's scared. He's this, he's that, he's that, he's this. But with Boots, it's cool. You see, he didn't know what was going on. Okay, let's put the pacifier in his mouth and let's rock him to sleep. Like, come on, man, these dudes is not babies. So it's the bottom line. That was a duck, but now it's looking like him and Tio might be happening. So if that fight does happen, it's going to be a mega fight, a fight that everyone is going to have interest in, and a fight that, not a lot of people going to give Tio a shot at. And I tell you this, man, we all know when it comes to these kind of fights, this is when we see the best Tio. And when Tio's at his best, he's just almost unbeatable.
Look, man, I think you made some great points, man, and I want to touch on two things, 2 points I want to touch on, man. First off, I wanted to interject while you were talking about the boot situation with before getting to the TO part, the boot situation with Virgil Ortiz, right? This we had a discussion on one of the shows or on a live, I don't remember, but it was you, myself, Johnny from the Hangout Spot. Shout out to at the Hangout Spot and Ephraim or somebody else, man. It was a couple of us, man. It was like four of us going back and forth, and everybody mentioned how you know what, go up to 154. Virgil wants it, you want it, make it happen. And I said, you know what, guys, I understand. I like what y'all saying. I like the energy, but hold on, man, hold on. Virgil Ortiz is not a fight that you want to take as your first fight in any weight class. I don't care. I don't care how good you think you are. I don't care what the circumstances are. If you moving up to a weight class, that's not a fight you get your feet wet. Oh, nah, let him. Is it? I don't. All right, I understand. I hear it, but at the same time, it seems that when reality struck them, and they in the factual in their face and it was about to be made, they started thinking what I was telling y'all. Like, you know what? Yo, this guy, we fought him twice. Chukajan, he was tough. This is a different weight class. Like, Ortiz is a big boy. He just fought Bohachuk. Bohachuk's another big, strong dude. These guys at 54 ain't no joke. This dude could pop. Boots, lately you got to work on your D. You've been taking a lot of punches, etc. So honestly, that's it. There's no other excuse but that one. They said, you know what? We got to retract ourselves. We can't fight this guy as our first fight at 54. That's the only reason I see that the fight didn't happen, Sean. They thought about it, they considered it at length, and they said, that's not the guy we need right now. Not at that weight. So that's it, because they tried to get him in the contract they put at 147, right? Like, come on, man. Like, you stop playing games, bro. Y'all know what weight he fight at. But I guess when reality struck them, they said they saw the facts and they said, nah, that's not the right move. So that's point one. Point two about Teofimo Lopez. Look, I mentioned it to y'all guys before. I mentioned it to you many times. You hit me up with a message earlier. Tio is the kind of guy that he's gonna have to take the extreme hard route. You know what I mean? He has in his career, and he's gonna continue to because all the guys in and around his weight never wanted to smoke. Be it Devin Haney, Javante Tank Davis. Javante, he's out there fighting. He fighting whoever, man. He picking names out of hat. You know what I mean? He's shaking it up and putting little names on it. And everybody in there is 130 pounds and down. And he's shaking it. Yo, put your hand in there. We're gonna fight whoever you pick out. So Javante never wanted anything to do with Teofimo Lopez. Shakur never tried to or pursued a fight with Tio. There was never any negotiations. He tried to fight Cambosos after he had beaten Tio because everybody knew that that was a fluke of a fight or that stylistically he was just much better for them than Tio was. So everybody wanted to smoke with Cambosos after Cambosos took the title from Tio, but they ain't want it with Tio. Also, Tio did two things already that people didn't wouldn't really be lining up to do, and that's fight Lomachenko with at 15 and 0, 16 and 0, still a young man in his early 20s when most people thought he would lose. He went, fought him, beat him. Then he went up to 140 after that, and after a fight of not looking great and the loss, and beat the shit out of Josh Taylor, the lineal undefeated, formerly undisputed champ who had his belts stripped from him or he had to give him away. Didn't take his belts. No one took his belt. So realistically, this guy's basically two times undisputed. And now he wants to go up and he mentioned Crawford. Crawford's not giving him any play. Crawford's trying to get big money fighting. He's still dreaming about Canelo every night. So Boots might give him play. So when you do that, just the fact that he's think about it. Think about what Tank is doing. Think about what Shakur is doing. Think about what Haney's done. right? The first time he fought somebody that was an actual threat, he got cooked, who he thought he was gonna be handling, in Ryan Garcia. Think about what Tio was doing. Lomachenko, Josh Taylor, and now at 135, 140, and now the 147, the fight Boots. Call Tio what you want. You know, he goofy, he talk wild dumb shit, whatever he do, but he got balls. He got balls, man. You got to give it to him, and that's what we want to see, man. I really don't care what you do or say outside the ring as far as you not being very coherent. If you an asshole, you an asshole. Tio, I don't think he's really doesn't come across as that, but he just, you ask him one thing, and he'll start talking about something totally different. He's just a little off. But when it comes to fight and when it comes to fighting the best, like you said, the harder the competition, the better he looks. And now another topic, he's now training with Eddie Reynoso, part of Canelo's team. So maybe I don't think that's the right move for him, but most likely, I mean, he can't hurt him. He can't take a step back, but it doesn't look like that in training. But training is one thing, fighting is another. So that could be a difference as well. And just being around Canelo, the work ethic, or the mental confidence, if his father allows Eddie to do his job, which is up for questioning. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, man. That's a combination of a lot of things, man. But I think he would be biting off a little more than he could chew against Boots, as because of the size. Tio is small. He's smaller than him. He's never fought at 47 before. That's a big leap, bro. From for Tio, that's a big leap, especially against a big welterweight. I don't know. I'll have to favor Boots. I can see Tio doing some things in there, but I don't know what about Tio's punch resistance at 147.
Yeah, I mean those are valid points, regarding Tio versus Boots. I think the consensus is gonna have you gotta favor Boots in that fight because we never seen Tio at 147 and how he looked and how his body gonna look and is his power gonna carry. Remember, he only has one stoppage at 140, so it's not like he's putting people's lights out. But he doesn't need to have knockout power at 147. He just has to have respectful, a power that's going to be respected by his opponents. And we know Boots, he's definitely not the most sound defensive fighter. So he's there to be hit. The question becomes, does he respect Tio's power? And if he does, then I think Tio could have a real good night in there. But if not, then it's gonna be interesting to see how Tio deals with Boot's style, which is come forward pressure, calculated pressure, and he wants to overwhelm you, for majority of the fight. So it's gonna be interesting. Hopefully it gets made. These are the kind of fights that need to get made in boxing. These are the kind of fights that us fans are gonna be excited for. And like you mentioned, you got dudes like Tank that's 30 years old and he has zero legacy fights. And he doesn't even look like he's looking to have a legacy fight because they asked him at the press conference about Shakur, and he's talking about Shakur. What has he done? Now he's even talking about Keyshawn. That Keyshawn is doing more. Don't let him fool you. You know why he won Keyshawn? Because it's an easier fight stylistically, and the dude is not even experienced enough.
No,
You
he's not. He's
understand?
not.
So
He's not. He's not that. He's not in that level. He's not an elite fighter. He's not a. He's not as far as experience. Yeah, he's not. He's not in the same category as Tank.
yeah, and the only reason I could see this fight happening because believe it or not, as per the new casual fan, they're gonna want to see that fight, and not because of what we know, which is the talent disparity is high on this one. Tank his talent and skill level is leaps above Keyshawn, but it's because Keyshawn's mouth, right? So people, this is the era we live in now. That as long as you could put on a show with your mouth, and then just knock anybody out, you a beast to these people. Oh my God, you saw what he did? Yo, him and Tank could be crazy, and you just laughing in the back of your head. But again, if it happens, it happens. I'm not. I'm to the point now, man, where these young guys want to get in there with these veterans. So be it, man. Whether they get cooked in 2, 3 rounds, they competitive, even upset. So be it. I'm not. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say no, no more. I don't think Keyshawn is ready for that fight. I know he's not ready, but shit, if it happens next year, don't be surprised. And in fact, Keyshawn was on the card interview Saturday, and I believe he said he's coming back in February to fight for the title against Dennis Berinchek. And then I think he said Tank after that, or somebody did Tank. So he has a hit list. Keyshawn has a hit list. So that's going to be interesting on how that plays out. He better take Berinchek seriously, because that's a fight he could definitely lose. You
Look,
know,
man, this is what I have to say about Keyshawn. I think it's tactics. I think he's just clout chasing. That's good, keeping your name in the mix with all those other guys. Like you said, he's a guy that sells online, right? To that generation, he's another Devin Haney. He sells online. He appeals to a certain demographic, the younger kids that are online and follow him. Yo, keep showing this, keep showing that. Da, 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 da. He got that hip hop culture behind him. Okay, that's cool, but he has done nothing in the ring, and he's not really showing anything impressive against actual competition. He has what, maybe 13 fights. The best fight he fought was the last guy that he fought, uh, Gustavo Lemos. He blew him out. The guy didn't make weight. Let's remember the guy came in like 5 pounds overweight. Who knows if he was training or not? It's a good move. It's a good tactic, but his team or himself, they want nothing to do with Tank Davis, because that's a fight that, unless they just in it for the money, they don't care if they get their ass whooped. That's a certain ass whooping. And not only is there a talent disparity or an experience disparity, there's also a talent disparity. I don't want to see that shit. I mean, yeah, I would like to see Keyshawn get knocked out. In that case, yeah, I'd like to see it. But as far as competition, we complaining about Tank fighting guys he shouldn't be fighting. That's another guy he shouldn't fight. That's another guy he shouldn't fight. So, that's how I feel about that fight. But speaking about